Question 37 from the homework. We've got a reaction between bromine and iodine to produce 2 molecules of iodine monobromide, and the Kp for that reaction is 322. We're then told that the equilibrium partial pressures of bromine and iodine are 3.1 e to the negative 1 atm and 1.35 e to the negative 1 atm respectively. And then we're asked, what is the partial pressure of iodine monobromide at equilibrium? This is a little bit different than the calculations we set up in class because we don't have to go through an ICE table. We already know the concentrations. They tell us the equilibrium concentration of bromine and iodine are this and this. They even tell us the Kp. We're just asked to find what is the partial pressure of iodine monobromide at equilibrium. So what would this expression look like, right? The expression would look like, got the concentration, right? Kc equals, Kp equals my partial pressure of iodine monobromide, and that partial pressure is squared. I'm using partial pressures because they're giving us atmospheres, not a concentration in molarity. That would be over the partial pressure of bromine times the concentration, right, as a partial pressure of iodine. And we know that equals 322. The next step is plug in the values that we know. So I know Kp equals 322. I don't know the partial pressure of iodobromide, but what could I call iodine monobromide that would allow me to solve for that partial pressure? Right? We could call that x, and because it's partial pressure squared, it would be x squared over the partial pressure of bromine, which is 0.31 atm, times the partial pressure of iodine, which is 0.135 atm. I'm going to multiply these two together, and I get 322 equals x squared over 0.04185. I'm going to multiply both sides by 0.04185, and I'm going to multiply this side as well by 0.04185. And I'm left with x squared equals 13.4757. We're trying to find x, right? X is that partial pressure of iodine monobromide. So we need to take the square root of both sides. Square root of this will give us x, and the square root of 13.4757 will give us that value. So x, right, don't forget what x is. X is the partial pressure of iodine monobromide. That equals approximately 3.67. I would go with 3 significant figures because we have 3 significant figures in our concentrations and in our equilibrium constant. So here's my partial pressure of iodine monobromide, right? We found that by just calling that our x and then plugging that into our equilibrium expression that we set up based on that reaction.